The African dry woodland
The
was a
African
vast
dry
land of survival
woodland,
under the blazing golden
bathed in
sun.
the intense
The
glow
open
of
wilderness
the
stretched
golden
endlessly
hour
with dusty
is a
paths, cracked
landscape
earth,
defined
scattered.
by
Acacia trees, thorny bushes, and patches of dry yellow grass moving gently with the hot wind. This was not a green jungle filled with thick plants. It was a harsh landscape where every creature had to find its own way to survive. In this dry world, even the biggest animals needed help from the smallest lives. High above the ground, inside a small nest hidden between rough tree branches, a tiny Oxpecker chick opened its eyes for the first time. The little bird was weak and fragile, covered with soft brown feathers. Its parents carefully brought insects and small pieces of food, teaching it the first lessons of life. The young Oxpecker was born into a world where danger was everywhere, but it carried a special destiny. One day, it would become a trusted partner of Africa's largest giants. As months passed, the young Oxpecker grew stronger. Its feathers became darker, its wings became powerful, and its bright red beak developed. The little bird learned how to fly across the dry woodland, searching for food while avoiding predators. Unlike many birds, the Oxpecker had a unique skill. It could survive by living alongside massive animals like buffaloes, rhinoceroses, and giraffes. Not far away, a large African buffalo herd moved slowly across the dusty plains. Their heavy footsteps created clouds of dust as they searched for grass near a shrinking waterhole. Among them was Barrow, an old and powerful Cape buffalo with huge curved horns and a scarred face from years of surviving in the wild. Barrow was strong, but even he faced a hidden enemy. Tiny ticks and parasites crawled across his thick skin, causing irritation and weakness. The buffalo could fight lions, cross dangerous lands, and protect his herd, but he could not easily remove the small creatures bothering him. Then, a small shadow flew above him. It was Keto, the young Oxpecker. Keto landed carefully on Barrow's rough back and began searching through his thick fur. The tiny bird moved around his shoulders, neck, and ears, picking away ticks and insects hiding between folds of skin. For Keto, it was a meal. For Barrow, it was relief. At first, the huge buffalo was unsure. He moved his body and shook his head, but soon he understood that the tiny bird was helping him. The giant animal allowed Keto to continue his work. A strange friendship had formed between two creatures that seemed completely different. Days turned into seasons, and Keto became an expert helper. He learned exactly where parasites like to hide. He cleaned Barrow's back, legs, and ears while the buffalo continued protecting his herd. Other buffaloes also welcomed Oxpeckers, standing calmly while the small birds worked. This relationship was one of nature's greatest partnerships.
Between
the giant animals provided the birds with food and protection, while the tiny birds helped keep them healthier. But life in the dry woodland was never peaceful. One afternoon, the wind suddenly changed. The bird became quiet, and the animals sensed something was wrong. Hidden among the tall golden grass, a powerful male lion moved silently toward the buffalo herd. His golden fur blended with the dry landscape as he watched for a weak target. Keto noticed the danger before anyone else. The small bird quickly flew into the air and made sharp warning calls. Barrow lifted his head and the herd became alert. The buffaloes formed a defensive group, lowering their horns and facing the approaching predator. The lion stopped. The surprise had disappeared. The herd was ready. After a few moments, the lion slowly walked away, knowing this was no easy hunt. The tiny Oxpecker had helped warn the giant animals before danger arrived. As the sun began to set, painting the dry woodland with orange and red colors, Keto rested on Barrow's back. The huge buffalo stood quietly beneath an old acacia tree while dust floated through the evening air. Their friendship showed a powerful lesson of nature. Size does not always decide importance. A small bird with a tiny body can make a huge difference in the life of a massive animal. Years passed, and Keto eventually found a mate. Together they raised new chicks and taught them the same skills. The young Oxpeckers learned how to fly, survive, and build relationships with Africa's giants. From a tiny chick inside a hidden nest to a trusted companion, riding on the backs of enormous animals. Keto's journey proved that every creature has a role in the natural world. The African dry woodland remained the same, dusty, golden, and challenging. Lions still hunted, buffaloes still wandered, and the seasons still changed. But among the acacia trees and endless grasslands, a special bond continued. A tiny bird in the John. Buffalo showed the world that survival is not always about being the strongest.
Also about
Sometimes the smallest helpers can protect the greatest giants.